pleasure to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for calling on me. I was a little scared to come up, but...
Yeah? Don't blame you.
You said something with the last gentleman about sometimes things don't always work out, but it turns out to be a blessing. Or to that effect, you know, sometimes bad things.
Sometimes contrast serves you just like you meant for it to, which causes you to launch a rocket that you're not a vibrational match to. But because the desire is a big one, you're willing to find the path to the solution. And along that path, you find everything you've been looking for.
Exactly. About a year and a half ago, I lost my job. And in doing that, I hit the job market so hard, I was sending out hundreds of resumes a day, to where, and no results, to where it stopped feeling good. You know, I stopped wanting to do that. And through that contrast, I was able to figure out what I do want to do with my life, figure out exactly, I have a clear picture, a very clear picture of exactly what I want to do with my life and how I want to spend it and where I want to spend it. The only ingredient that I need to manifest from the invisible is the money to do it.
So the path to the life experience that you're looking for, you think is the money?
No, it's actually the enjoyment of doing it.
But what you just said is the only thing missing is the money.
To get started.
So let's just follow this thought out a little
Sure.
bit. The money would make that path unfold more easily. So now we just need to find the path to the money.
Amen.
So, oh, this is such a good conversation we're about to have. Can you feel that even in some of the things that you said just now, that you were carving out a path of least resistance to not enough money rather than carving out a path to money?
Yeah.
So you can feel the difference. That's just really, really a good awareness.
And when I catch myself, I try to switch it.
Let's switch it now. But here's the thing. There are two things that we want to say to you. Because of the power of your desire and because of what you know, we're going to together carve out the path to the path to the path to the path to the path. But our question to you is, to all of you, but specifically to you, do you think we're more likely to carve that path out by getting specific to the point that you're handing out hundreds of flyers a day? Or do you think that the path of least resistance is a more general path?
General.
Do you think you're good at anything?
Yeah. It's funny you asked that because I was thinking about that when you have to figure out what you're good at. And I was like, well, I was never that guy that was the best at sports or never really the class A guy, but I'm good at this stuff. You know, I enjoy this more than I've ever enjoyed anything else.
You're good at focusing.
Yeah.
You're good at sticking with something. You're so good at sticking with something that you did something that didn't work long after everybody else would have given up. So you've got that determination thing. Sure. So what you've heard from us here today is you point that determination towards something that does work. So if we can convince you that your work is to get on the high-flying disc.
I'm already convinced.
And that's the path. So let's talk about some ways of doing that. We said to you that it's easier earlier in the day, before things have happened that then activate within you old thoughts and old pipes. So Esther is asking herself that question, sitting, reaching for it, and saying to us, so Abraham. It was more like, so Abraham. So I just pull this out of thin air. Is that what you're saying? I just sit here in my beingness and I just reach for the high flying disc, just pull it out of thin air. And we say, well, now that you're talking like this, that's not likely. That's not likely. There's already a momentum going that makes just it occurring to you unlikely. So what are some things that make you feel better? Well, Esther thought about music makes her feel better. Specific music makes her feel really good. Some music channels take her right down to a lower disc, some a higher disc. So the idea of music generally felt good. The idea of some music felt even better. And so we encouraged her to play some music, to play some high-flying music. The music that they're playing in the seminars, that music always takes her upward because it was written specifically for that purpose by people who were there when they wrote it. Sure. And so having something like that in your bag of tricks, so to speak, takes her right there. A few years ago, we made a meditation CD that has sort of weird music that causes you to breathe in a rhythm that's not exactly normal, which causes you to focus in a way that you haven't focused before. That will take you to your high-flying disc, because it will distract you from whatever was keeping you from that high-flying disc. Because if you have decided to do it concentrating on that meditative music, which is different than anything that you've heard before, which causes a rhythm of breathing that is different than you've ever breathed before, it will distract you from whatever was keeping you there, and it will be more likely that your cork will float right to the surface. And then the affirmations, the words that were specifically chosen, that we put onto that recording, expecting that you would be on that high-flying disc, then those words that were spoken on the subject of abundance, there are different categories, but on the subject of abundance, will cause you to be on that place of non-resistance at the same time that you're listening to what the source within you knows about the subject. In other words, these kinds of things cause you to practice that vibration. The process of meditation, where you deliberately just quiet your mind, even if you're not listening to the recording that we've provided, is also a way of going about that. Doing anything that is pleasurable to you. If you like to float in the more buoyant water of the ocean, then float in the buoyant water of the ocean. If it feels good when you're in the hot tub, then get in the hot tub. In other words, purposefully do those things that you feel fairly certain will give you the best opportunity to be on that high-flying disc. And so what happens in all of this kind of self-conversation is you're making these statements to the universe. I have decided, with the same power that you decided that you were going to be gainfully employed, with the same determination, I've decided that I'm going to be on the high-flying disc, because I've decided that the high-flying disc is the path of least resistance to everything that I want. Not just to employment. It's not just employment. You're not looking for work. You're looking for life. You're looking for purpose. You're looking for something that rings your bells. You're looking for engagement with others. You're looking for meaningful aspects of life. And so when you use that determination that you used before to do the only thing that matters, which is to find that vibration, will you find it instantly? Do you find it instantly? Usually not. Even Esther, with all she's heard and all she knows, sometimes efforts a little to get on the disc. She's been doing focus wheels to get on the disc. And she says, am I efforting too much? And we say, anything that causes you to focus. We think you've made it about as elementary as you can make it when you decide that my predominant work in this day is to figure out how to feel good for a minute. That's as elementary as it gets. It's as basis as it gets. It's as basic as it gets. It's as life-giving as it gets. It's as productive as it gets. And we promise you that momentum in its purity will lead to more, will lead to more, will lead to more, will lead to more. And along that will be a path of lesser and lesser and lesser resistance, and then a path to more money than you have any sensible use for.
I must be close then, because I've been doing that for a long time now. I'd make that my goal, to be on the high flying. That's the only goal I have right now.
It's the only goal you need.
Yeah.
And it's not the goal your employers want you to have.
And I'm not looking for an employer either.
A lot of them have employers.
Yeah, no, I know.
We're just saying, you have to reach this place where you say, I love you all.
I am at that place.
And I'm dovetailing with you in the ways that I have committed to a certain extent, but I have a priority that trumps everything, and that's my alignment.
Exactly.
And the promise that I'm making to all of you, employers and lovers and children and parents and peers and friends, the promise that I'm making to all of you is that I'll give you the best of me, because I'm tuning to the best of me.
Exactly.
And if you're going to play with me, and I want you to, it's why I focus on you, you're going to have to come up here where I am.
Yeah. I told my brother that.
And many of them will come. Many of them will come. Okay. But most important, that's what your inner being is saying to you.
I'm close then, huh?
Yeah. That's what your inner being is saying to you. Okay. If you want to play in the clarity and abundance and vitality and prosperity that is natural to you, you have to give up those old pipes that don't feel good when you focus on them.
How do you lay new pipes?
By getting there and then having the thought about something. We laid some new pipes earlier today about abundance, but
sure, I remember.
First it's wanting to. Next, it's understanding that you don't lay new pipes unless you feel new.
Okay.
You don't lay new pipes unless you feel new. If you feel determined, you've been there, you'll just pass out more flyers. If you feel bad, you'll just lay more pipes about that. If you feel unloved, you just lay more pipes about that.
So the pipe is a retraining of the mind, a new belief system.
It's a focusing inside a new feeling.
Okay.
So we're asking you to reach for the feeling first thing in the morning. And when you think you've found a piece of it, then pull on the string of it a little longer until you're more secure in it. And then milk it. And then milk it and 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 milk it until it's a more stable vibration. Until there's more momentum in it.
Sure.
And the wonderful thing about this is that a little bit of that, we're talking about a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10, of getting up and doing that and getting up and doing that, then things start responding to that newfound vibrational stability, and then you begin to feel that invincibility. And then it's not that the stakes get higher, it's that the reward is so great.
Sure.
In other words, when you are accustomed to clarity flowing through you, confusion just won't do. When you are accustomed to really funny people being around you, ornery people just won't do.
Sure.
When you're accustomed to dollars flowing easily into your experience, scarcity just doesn't do. But it's the emotion that we want you to get hooked on, because the emotion you can accomplish now if you want to. The money you can't accomplish today, not necessarily today because you want to. The emotion you can accomplish today. You can accomplish the beginning momentum today, and you can maintain the beginning momentum today. At the last gathering, we had a really wonderful rampage at the end. Someone had asked for one, and off we went. It was a really wonderful rampage. And everyone was feeling all full of themselves. It's our favorite way for you to feel. We had managed together to tune ourselves into this high-flying vibration, and nearly without exception, everyone was feeling really, really good. And we commented on how eager we were about what was coming next. And then we said, it is exactly as if we have pushed the reset button today. We've pushed the reset button today. The audience really liked that. They really liked that feeling of new beginning, that feeling of new empowerment, that feeling of new point of attraction, that feeling of new power, that feeling of new wide open pipes, pathways to all things wanted. You could feel them. And then we said, however, they groaned too, it only lasts for one day. And what we mean by that is, it's your job to fly there and to consciously know that you are, and to milk it while you're there, which will make it easier tomorrow and easier the next day and easier the next day. But every day you got to do it. Every day you've got to accept this is where my power is. Every day you've got to identify that that's how you want to feel. Every day you've got to use the power of focus to find something that puts you there. And every day the path of least resistance will make that easier and easier and easier and easier, but you will still have to do it every day.
Forever.
Every day. Every day. Every day. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. We know, friends, it's a horrible price to pay. I have to be joyful forever.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
I have to be joyful forever. I have to be clear-minded forever. I have to be the recipient of inspiration forever. I have to be solution-getting forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It is so worth it.
It's the only way to live.
It's so worth it.
For sure.
It's the only way you do live from your broader non-physical standpoint. So then you got to say, then why'd I come here? If I was high-flying, then tell me one more time, what's the point of all this contrast? Because it causes you to ask for what you couldn't have asked for if you didn't have the vibrational variance in order to help you to focus.
Sure.
Wait, so I have to feel bad so that I can feel good? No, you have to want more so you can expand.
Which is our nature.
Eternally, forever, every day.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.